how different is it this year? I feel like last year this time, we were kind of talking about the struggles of the first year in time, I should say, but now you guys got to taste that success for you once again. Is it different this year knowing that you got the target on your back again?
Yeah, John, in some ways it's different, but there's no way to recreate teams. They're always going to be different. Everyone will point to the loss of Talon Peter and Owen Aquino and Javon Moffmer, but we really miss Bryson Spell and Gabriel and even Curdy, Will, Kai. Like that, those guys had roles on our team that, although might not be visible to the public, they were certainly foundational to who we are. So I think for us, the challenge is my mentor says it this way. He said, without clear convictions, your opportunities will make your choices. So I just want to stay true to our convictions. Like what we do every day, that's more important than what we do every once in a while. I think a genuine, intentional posture of gratitude is for us the essence of the way because that way, like, it kind of alleviates those expectations. Look, no one on the outside, and we love Flames Nation and those that support us. I think we've got the best administration in the country, but none of their expectations would be grander than ours. Like we expect a lot of ourselves and our program. So I would tell you, I think if we just keep appropriating it that way, we'll be in the right space.
I think you told me once, a couple years ago, I don't know what it was, but you want to get old and stay old as far as your roster goes. It's harder to do that now than it ever has been. But that said, you got some cool players coming back this year. You've got a lot of experience. How does that feel coming in when you're trying to replicate success? I mean, how much easier does that make it even as those guys bring the new guys along?
Yeah, Nick, it's a near impossibility, like, to get old and stay old now unless you are totally committed to the portal. And we've never been built that way. I think it's incumbent upon us as coaches to make sure we are open to change and have an ability to adapt. I think that's what we've done. I hope so, at least. But I do think having Caden, Colin, Zach back are, like, obviously that's a blessing. And I'd even throw in there Isaiah and Josh, although Isaiah only had a third of the year. Josh practiced with us all summer and all spring, and he was in our room every day. So I do think there's some experience that we can count on. Maybe we kind of know what to expect. But I also know that the ability of our freshmen and RJ and JJ who transferred here, their ability to get a grasp of what we do, especially on the defensive end, is paramount if we want to keep contending for the championship.
You mentioned Isaiah out. Is he full go at this point?
No. He early projections are he'll be back beginning of the season, but might be on a minute restriction when he first comes back.
How about Josh?
Yeah, Josh has been full go.
You hit the portal this season. I'm sure you hit it with a lot of different mentality than you did a season ago. You had obviously Caden, Collins, Zach back this year. You didn't have to get as many from just a quantity perspective. How do you feel like you did whenever you reached in and got JJ Hart?
Well, we hit home runs in terms of the people, Bryson. Like, those dudes are fabulous. I think it remains to be seen. I can project or speculate. Like, I think this is what we got in them as players, but that's just from however many spring and summer practices we've had. I think the true tell of the tape will be their production in games. I can tell you this: J.J. Harper is fabulous. That dude is as good a defender as I've seen in a first-year player in one of our programs. And that would be career long, even my days at UVA. That dude he's relentless, man. He's really good, really tough. And he's a good offensive player. That West Liberty system is a good one. And I know their coach now is at IU Indy, I think is what they say now, not IUPUI. But he did a really good job of preparing JJ. And then RJ came from a Mike Young system, so, like, those dudes are well coached. He just didn't get a chance to play. And he's battled injuries probably the last 20-some-odd months. So he's healthy for us, and his runway's been a little bit longer because of maybe being slowed by an injury or two this summer, but I do think he's progressing well.
You mentioned the loss of Owen, and obviously Zach's coming back, clearly a huge piece to your arsenal. But your front court, is it, maybe you've had enough time to figure it out a little bit so far, but is it a little bit of a work in progress, trying to figure out who you got, what you got, with the, Josh is here and Isaiah coming back off the injury?
Yeah, John, we're always a work in progress, right? That's on and off the floor for all of us. But yeah, it's certainly not as definitive as it was because of the symmetry that Owen and Zach had on the floor at the same time. That being said, I think Bill would know better than me. I think Owen only played like 24 minutes a game. So, but Owen's a major loss from the standpoint of I could kind of tell you what we were going to get every night. I can't do that yet, but again, we haven't played any games. I will say, like Isaiah Enan, the way he was progressing on the court when we had him last year, like he was going to start and have a high role. If Isaiah doesn't go down, I don't know if Talon Peter has the season that he has, because it freed up some minutes for Talon to play through mistakes. And like as a player, that's always what you want, right? You want to be able to play through mistakes. In order to do that, you have to have enough equity in the trust bank in order to have the coach or the coaching staff trust you with that. So, yeah, I think we'll know a little bit more after our scrimmages, but unless something definitive happens here in the next 30 practices, 29 practices, I tell you, I think we'll have to wait and see.
I'm sure you don't struggle with something like getting your team staying focused, but when you get a preseason log from the 68 like you did, top rank, is that, with all is that rat poison? Is that kind of like, we want to look past that? What does that do for your team?
Rat poison, man. You're Coach Saban-esque. Yeah, Bryson, we haven't talked a lot about it. I think the only thing I can think of when I see something like that is there was a time when we were just happy to be in the poll or being mentioned. And I think the expectations have grown so much around us and internally that and although we got a ton of respect for Field of 68, Rocco and Sean do a great job in that, and Jeff and Rob Dosser, who started, like those dudes know the game. So I think there's a compliment that's there. But and I mentioned this on the podcast that I was on, like our goals are never to be like rank this or rank that as much as they are to be contending for a championship. And again, without clear convictions, opportunities will make your choices. Like if we don't approach the day in a way that, like if we think for 1 second we're entitled to a conference championship run or to be in that conversation or to be a top mid-major program in the country because of what we've done historically, like that would be rat poison. Like our convictions are, hey, look, we're gonna give our very best. We're gonna compete and give our best every day. We're gonna be about us more than we are individually. We're going to play together, play smart, have the details add up, and our purpose is going to be greater or larger than just what we accomplish on the court as players and as coaches. We want to live in our true identity. So I would tell you, again, thankful for that. But this group, like they're not concerned about it.
How much of the lack of concern about that from the players is based on the returners you have this year and prior returners that help mold them to where they can block out that noise?
Eddie, I'm impressed you waited 6 questions before you asked one. That's a record.
It is.
It
I'm
is.
trying to set an example for my kids, and
Yeah.
I fail regularly.
Well, we all do, but failure is learning. Just remember that. Yeah,
Can I use that with my wife?
sure. I don't know how much it'll work, bro, but I think our program, the evidence of who we are now is in the dudes that have gone before us. So I think they have set a tone, a standard that I think our group, year by year, they have an adherence to, and because of that, I think it increases the foundation and the trust that we have for one another and our process. Like I won't just say the process because everybody's process is different, but our process. So I think they've had a lot, the aforementioned, those dudes that have labored hard to help us become who we are. I think they've had a ton to do with it.
you can't mention recruits specifically by name or anything, but how much does being in the top 10 conference last year and the success you've had over the years and last year, and then also maybe Taylor getting drafted in the NBA has kind of helped pay dividends
Yeah.
on the recruiting trail?
No doubt. All that, John, like all that, like going to the tournament and again, something I mentioned previously, like we had a really good season last year. I think we started 2-3 in the league. Was that right? And then had a really good run from there. So our confidence at the end of the year was really high. Oregon was just way better than us. I think we lost by more points in a single game than we had collectively all year long. So it left a bitter taste to a really good season. But again, our process is to not be defined by the outcomes. But I do think winning the conference regular season and the NCAA tournament, having a chance to get some national recognition and playing in a league that was as competitive as ours, seeing a player that was in your program who ironically came off the bench to be drafted in the NBA the first time in 40 years. No doubt, like when we've made calls in recruiting, they've been either answered or returned quicker or faster than any time in my tenure here thus far. So I do think it helps, and I think the evidence of that is guys that have, I can't speak specifically, but guys that have shown an interest or commitment to our program already.
You know, last year at times the question of depth came up and playing with 6 or 7 guys, but it worked pretty well for you. Do you feel like this year you have more depth or more people that you want to get on the floor, or how do you foresee that?
Yeah, Nick,
right now?
I've done it long enough to know there will always be questions about something from you guys. It might be free throw percentage, it might be depth, it might be coaches' tapes that they've never seen, it might be something. But no, fair question, man. I think we have more depth. But again, for that to be come to fruition, we got to stay injury-free. And I think guys got to find how to star in their role. Because like Talon, for all that Talon gets acclaim for, the thing that really no one mentions is, man, he knew what he could do well, and he stayed in that lane. Talon never over-dribbled. If he didn't have it in 2 or 3 dribbles, that ball was moving. He became a defender that could stay on the floor, and we didn't have to compensate for. So just being able to supplement what his role was, man, we need you to give us a punch, come off the bench, give us some points or some aggressiveness. Like, you can do that, but it can't be the only thing you do in terms of our whole equation. But you got to know who you are as a player, and Talon was a prime example of that. But I think our group has done that year by year.
You still got over a month till the season starts, but what have you seen out of your freshmen so far?
Yeah, I love our freshman group. I really do. Tor Sorensen, whose dad played here, he's the first recruit that I think ever came here because of the legacy that was in his home. And then Andrew Grimes from North Carolina, love him. He's got an energy that you guys are going to love. He's going to be fun to follow. TJ Drain is highly coachable. Thought for sure we were going to redshirt him. That's off the table now. He's a good player and has a chance to help us right away. And then Xander Carter is. You feel like he's like been in your program for 6 years already. He's got the ability to grasp the system. He knows what the team needs. He adds value to winning. So I think all of those dudes have a chance to play and help us. Although you can only play so many, you only have 200 minutes to dish out. So someone's not going to be happy with me, but kind of used to that.
With your youngest son, Gabriel, getting into coaching, Coach, what advice did you give him as he left your program and now he's up at Kentucky?
Yeah, AY, I miss him. Our room misses him, but just serve. Like I think you see the people that leave our doors, and I think that's a characteristic that they stay intentional about and are gifted in. So he'd be well versed to continue in that lane.
Stelios was here, left, now he's back. have you seen him mature as a coach?
Yeah, I love having Stells. He was with us, went to Wake Forest, UVA, and now is back with us, and he's in our GM role, although he can on-court coach too, which is great. He brings an international recruiting piece that we haven't had, although I'm not sure how we navigate that yet. We're still learning. With the sudden change that exists in collegiate athletics, you're constantly learning, and you get a new template seemingly every week. But Stells he's a servant, man. He's got unbelievable connections, and he's a people person, so he's added a ton of value. Between Stelios, Zach Farquhar, Stephen Berggraf, Luke McKay, Kyle Rode, everybody in that room has either played or coached for us, which is awesome, except for DJ, and DJ's been here. We're going on year 8 together. Even our 2 GAs, Tyson and Chris, have been, those dudes are all about, like, they feel like family. So love the staff that we have. Those Chelsea Mangino's been with me forever, Chelsea Danga, and we're actually going to miss her. She goes on maternity leave when the baby comes in December. So if we're not as organized, you'll see why. Ladies, you got to ask a question if you're going to be in here.
Oh, I gotcha.
Okay.
Coach, this is a team that prides itself on culture, and it's clear that when the team's clicking off the court, then the magic's happening on the court. With the integration of these new guys, are you foreseeing a similar sense of community that we saw last season?
She's way better than you guys. What's your name? Anna, great question. I would hope that that's evident in the way we play. My hope is that when people come to our game, because we're, for whatever you want to call it, there's an element of this that is for entertainment and pride of your school. And although everyone that buys a ticket, sits in those stands, wants us to win, I would hope the takeaway for anyone that witnesses a practice or a game that our group is on display in, like they would see, wow, there's something different about that team. They are connected. Because I think it's in that unity that is jet fuel for impact and transformation. So, but it doesn't happen because you hope it happens. It happens because you're committed to it. There's a great deal of sacrifice. I'll leave you with this quote, unless someone has another question. I can't remember the baseball coach's name at Ole Miss, but I heard him say that you'll start to get results or impact when your commitment becomes greater than your feelings. And man, I think we could all learn from that. I think if we can stay out of our feelings, and emotions or feelings are great servants, but they're horrible masters. I think if we can just keep staying true to our commitment, our conviction, this will be a better place.